Welcome back to the Bob Edwards Show.
Westbound side looking a little bit better. Some minor delays into the 405.
We're live with the latest.
When I first started, I didn't know anything. And I did everything for free. I didn't know nobody paid me and nobody offered to. And I just thought, well, this is fun.
When you're young, you really don't think about, what the benefits are of the union or anything like that. You just want to work.
Parts of the central Atlantic states are getting a taste of old man winter. It's what remains.
You have actors, you have news broadcasters, you have announcers, you have singers, you have all of radio.
Sales claim based on car and light-duty truck registrations and official manufacturer.
There are thousands of people out there, all of whom are hoping to be the next one to catch a ride into the spotlight.
Coming up next, Patrios from the blog Eschaton.
You shouldn't have to devote your life to something and not have a living wage for it.
My father was a labor organizer for the Ironworkers Union, and I knew what kind of protection he needed. And I always felt that I would like to belong to an organization that could protect me in a way that he protected himself and also our family. So there it was. I became an AFTRA member.
The American Federation of Television and Radio Artists was born in 1937. From the union's earliest days, under its flamboyant first president, Eddie Cantor, to legends like Bob Hope and Edward R. Murrow, AFTRA's high-profile leaders have carried the torch on behalf of the more than 70,000 performers and broadcasters who are AFTRA.
Good evening. Tonight, See It Now devotes its entire half hour to a report on Senator Joseph R. McCarthy, told mainly in his own words and pictures.
AFTRA's identity is informed by a rich and fascinating history, imprinted by the footsteps of millions of workers who sacrificed, spoke out, and walked the lines so that our union could thrive today.
If you are working for an entity that believes in the 40-hour work week, or paying you overtime if you work longer than that, and some of the other things that we accept now as normal, you should know that there were people who got their heads busted open years ago, some of whom died. There was a long, hard struggle.
But in 1947, the Taft-Hartley Act was passed over President Truman's veto.
I had hoped that the Congress would send me a labor bill I could sign. But the Taft-Hartley bill is a shocking piece of legislation.
Among the sweeping changes, the outlawing of closed shops and secondary boycotts, the institution of right-to-work laws, and rules opening a 30-day window before a worker could be compelled to join a union. Now management had more than leveled the playing field.
Belonging to a union gives people who would not have very much power a lot more power than they otherwise would have.
Back in the 60s, AFTRA staged a strike against the three major networks. And the sacrifice that those people made then has paid off for me and for generations of people like me who have benefited from their union taking a stand and saying, enough.
American Federation of Television and Radio Arts, that's like the NAACP. Do you really know what it stands for?
We live without any guarantees.
I think of AFTRA, I think of protection for all those musicians and artists and everything. We spend all of our time on the road working and everything else, and we don't get the opportunity to think about the behind the scenes of what could happen, if you got sick.
It's a brotherhood, it's security, it's, you have somebody else that's also looking out for your best interest, and, it's just it's a feeling of knowing that everything that you're doing is protected.
AFTRA has chronicled generations of talent on tape, acetate, kinescope, simulcast, digital, iPod, downloadable CDs, and, quote, any electronic or other means now or hereinafter devised, unquote.
Industry has changed a great deal.
Because there are alternative forms of programming that we never had before.
In recent years, AFTRA has stepped up its presence in the political arena, working to change state and federal legislation that directly impacts our industry.
I am here today on behalf of all recording artists to support the repeal.
I was always taught that Lincoln freed the slaves, and I didn't realize that he excluded recording artists.
These hearings are extremely important to all our members because Section 2855B singles out recording artists for disparate treatment and denies them the legal protection that California extends to all other workers. That's the crux of the issue.
When it comes right down to it, the only organization that will speak for you as a talent in any market in this country is AFTRA. It is a union with history. It is a union that is there for you. You can't do any better than AFTRA. And I'm a 30-year veteran. I know what I'm talking about.
That's the thing. I had gastric bypass surgery on the 9th of September. Guess who paid for it? Yo, yo, yo!
My insurance coverage with AFTRA is what made that possible for me to do. So I'm loving the benefits.
Our reporters on our staff here at NBC4, we must have at least a half a dozen who are freelancers every single day. They have no health care, they have no retirement except for the union. They belong to AFTRA. The only way they will ever get any health care coverage or any retirement coverage is through AFTRA.
AFTRA has really done a great service to the dance community in establishing specific hazardous language in the contracts to protect dancers who supplement their short dance career.
And AFTRA, of all three unions, is probably the most progressive in terms of fighting for legal situations, improvements for people with disabilities.
They say, well, you know, I've got a 401k plan from the company. What do I have? Health benefits from the company. Do I really need the union? It's like, well, all I can ask you is you look at the people who thought they had lifetime benefits from Enron or in Detroit who thought they had a job for life, and then tell me if you need a union.
My tenure in Washington, we have prevailed in every severance arbitration other than one in 25 years, and we've had a lot of them.
When AFTRA comes to the bargaining table, the company is going to sit up and take notice.
It's kind of like any other line of work in that you need to have somebody looking out for your best interest.
Particularly at a time where there's such incredible corporate dominance over, you know, that reaches into our government, whether it's oil executives or telecommunications executives or big pharmaceutical.
I'm always amazed at what this union's able to accomplish.
AFTRA, in many cases, really stands its ground on matters that affect not just the older employees, but the younger ones as well.
I think that's part of one of the greatest things of all the guilds is that we're brothers and sisters together. Yes, it's competitive. Yes, I want to succeed as an actor, but I have the chance through my union work to also give something back to another person. None of us are alone in this world. We rely on somebody else.
You know, if everyone stood on the sidewalk while Dr. King marched during the civil rights movement, nothing would get done.
I don't see the answer to our problem in riots. So my slogan is not burn, baby, burn. My slogan is build, baby, build. Organize, baby, organize. Learn, baby, learn so that you can earn, baby, earn.
I'm here today to talk about the right to work. The right to have a job in this country in a time of prosperity in the United States.
I'm here and we're going to fight like hell.
So I think people who tend to become members of a union begin to appreciate it more.
Person going it alone versus a collective group, it's not difficult to figure out that your chances of getting the right thing done are far greater when you're doing it together, collectively.
I think labor unions are so critical to workers. We have so little ability to influence the way we're employed and how our work life is lived and the kinds of wages we're paid, and that's just not right. And you know, at their best, labor unions are pure democracy.